Hi guys, welcome back to the channel as we are talking about travel nursing this series. My name's Olivia and I've worked the last 3.5 years as a travel nurse, traveling the country full time with my husband and 2 rescue dogs. This video is going to be dedicated to 4 different things that you should be thinking about before jumping into travel nursing. Before you jump into a contract, I think it's important that you should figure out what your motivation is. And there's a lot of different things that go into that. Travel, money, or experience. So let's break these things down. Travel is very obvious. Do you want to see a new place? You can easily do that with travel nursing. For me, my motivation was traveling
100%.
I have lived in 10 different states now, and I have traveled through or visited so many more throughout my time off because of this job. So the flexibility and the adventure aspect of this career was super appealing to me. Experience can also be just building your resume. You can work at a bigger hospital and be exposed to new equipment, new charting systems, different types of diagnoses that are more prevalent in a specific area than maybe you have where you're from. This can build your resume to make you more attractive for your dream staff job. And then obviously money. Money is a huge motivator in travel nursing and a really big topic when anybody talks about travel nursing. And it's true. You're paid weekly and you get stipends. And speaking from my personal experience, traveling even on my lower paying gigs was still bringing in more than double what I made as a staff nurse. Number 2 on our list of things that you should be thinking about before jumping into travel nursing is what kind of experience you need beforehand. Typically, hospitals like to see that you've had 2 years of experience as a nurse before you jump into traveling. And that's just so you understand the flow of a typical shift and you can adjust to change quickly because you have your critical thinking and time management skills down already. The orientation as a new staff nurse to a new traveler is completely different. As a new traveler, it is so short. So they expect you to be on, and that's why they want you to have some experience under your belt. That was a little bit more lenient in the pandemic because a lot of hospitals were so strapped for nurses. But overall, 2 years is the general rule. If we're talking about experience, we obviously need to talk about what kind of nursing you can get into as a travel nurse. Now, this isn't a definitive rule, but a lot of times hospitals would like you to work in the specific type of nursing that you have experience in as a staff nurse already. So to use an example, I worked at a small community hospital on a progressive care unit, and I saw a lot of cardiac patients, a lot of med-surg patients, those kinds of diagnoses. And all throughout my traveling experience, I worked on the same types of floors because I knew what to expect and I knew how to care for those patients. You can also work on floors that have a lower acuity or more stable patients than what you're used to because that's going to be easier to acclimate to. So an example of that would be if you're an ICU nurse, you could get a position on a med-surg floor because those are going to be less intense patients that you're caring for. But the opposite is kind of a little more unheard of, I would say. If you have experience as a med-surg nurse, I would be surprised if you got a contract as an ICU nurse unless the hospital was willing to train you somehow. I think another thing we need to talk about when it comes to experience is experience you don't have to have before getting into travel nursing. For me personally, I was extremely nervous about the potential of needing to learn a new charting system, and that almost made me want to learn it before the contract. Like, I was looking up YouTube videos. It's funny now, but you do not need to know the charting system of that hospital prior to accepting that contract. They will teach you an orientation. If you do have experience with that charting system, some hospitals will allow you to take an accelerated orientation course, but every single contract I've had, they offer classes that walk you step by step on how to chart on that specific charting system that they use. So to reiterate and calm anybody that's nervous, you don't have to know that hospital's specific charting system in order to take a contract with them. Number 3 on our list of things to think about before jumping into travel nursing is how does licensing work? So You pass your NCLEX and you get your license in that specific state. For me, it was Ohio, but all of my travel nursing contracts took place in different states. Ohio at the time did not offer a multi-state license, so I had to get a license for every state I wanted to work in. And that can kind of seem daunting and intimidating, but we'll make a video in the future that goes through that process. If you do have a multi-state license, you can work in any of the states that hold that same multi-state license. That's not all 50, there's a list, so just do a quick Google search and that'll show you what states are on that list. Number 4 on our list of things to think about before getting into travel nursing, I think is the most important, and that's thinking about fear. Do not let fear stop you from trying. Travel nursing does not have to be a permanent change in your career. You can try it for a 13-week stint, and if you don't like it, you don't have to try again. Or you can go to a new hospital and it's a completely different experience. You can extend up to a year at one specific facility as a travel nurse before things start to get a little dicey with the IRS, but we'll be talking about that in the future. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any other questions or ideas for future videos, please leave them in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos in this series as we talk more about travel nursing.